The previous version of the Acer Swift 3 impressed me considerably. It had a great balance of features, design and performance for a great price. Now Acer's back with an updated version that includes, well, not all that much really. There's a tweaked design and a new screen, but otherwise the core of this laptop is the same. The all-metal exterior remains and it looks pretty much as good as ever, although now the top has a brushed finish rather than the plain anodised style of before. However, the addition of these chamfered edges I don't think improves the look, and moreover it doesn't improve the feel. There's a sharpness to the keyboard surround's edge that, while it's unlikely to cut you, it can catch your nails and just doesn't feel that comfortable. Otherwise there's a lot to like about the external design. The machine is just 18mm thick and weighs 1.4 kilograms, so it's very portable. With dimensions of 338 by 234mm, its footprint is a little larger than the very smallest of ultra-portable laptops, but it's still plenty small enough to easily carry around with you everywhere. As for connectivity, this is one area that has seen a clear improvement. Now you get 2 USB 3 ports instead of 1. There's also a full-size HDMI, USB Type-C and a headphone jack on this left side, plus an SD card reader and a USB 2 port on the right. Here there's also a couple of lights to indicate that the laptop is on or in standby and if it's charging, plus there's a Kensington lock slot. There's no wired network connection, so you'll need to use a USB adapter for that, but you get 2x2 AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so you're all set for wireless connections. Now this version of the Swift 3 is actually 100 grams heavier than its predecessor, which isn't too much of a concern, but the reason for this is the addition of a glass front to its 14-inch screen. This is nice from a design standpoint and makes it look all the more like a MacBook Pro if that's your thing, but overall the changes to the screen aren't positive. As well as adding a little extra weight, the glass is far more reflective than the old screen, despite it having an anti-glare coating. A glossy finish can make for slightly deeper looking dark colours, but there's a reason most PC monitors have a matte finish. What's more, the actual image quality of the screen has dropped too. Its contrast level has dropped from well over 1000 to 1 in the previous version to just 735 to 1. That's far from the worst figure we've seen on a cheap laptop, but it visibly makes for a slightly more muted looking image. Otherwise, performance is roughly the same as before. Maximum brightness is a touch low at just 249 nits, so working in bright sunshine may prove difficult. Colour temperature is reasonably accurate, so colours don't look too warm or too cold, and sRGB coverage of just 61.4% shows that this display struggles a little to show the full range of colours. All of which is to say it is absolutely fine. It's an IPS LCD panel, so viewing angles are good, and overall it still provides a perfectly decent experience for everyday computing, thanks in large part to it having a plentiful Full HD resolution. However, content creation professionals will find it lacking, and it's just a bit of a shame that it's a step back in quality from the previous version. As for the keyboard and trackpad, the former is backlit, which is always useful, and its layout is great, with UK users not being stuck with an American key arrangement. The key action is a touch shallow and soft for my liking, making it a little more difficult to touch type, but it's a minor point. Meanwhile, the trackpad is great. Large, smooth gliding and responsive, it just works. On the inside is where this laptop has seemingly changed the least. It's still based on the choice of either an Intel Core i3-7100U or Core i5-7200U. Both dual-core chips with hyperthreading, the 7100U runs at 2.4GHz and doesn't have a higher boost frequency, while the 7200U has a base frequency of 2.5GHz and boosts to 3.1. The slower version also only comes with 4GB of RAM and 128GB SSD, compared to the 8GB and 256GB that accompany the faster processor. As such, while many casual users will probably be quite happy with the cheaper version of this laptop, and the £100 saving that it brings, more demanding users will definitely want to spend the extra. As for the performance all that lot provides, I've tested the 7200U version and it's absolutely fine. It's totally sufficient for all day-to-day computing and only comes unstuck when you throw something particularly demanding at it like video editing. It'll still get the job done, but it'll be kinda slow. Also, technically Acer has managed to eke out a touch more performance than before, even if it is a tiny increase. Incidentally, I did try and get into this laptop to see what upgrade options are possible, but I simply couldn't get the two panels of the base to come apart without feeling like I was going to damage them. I suspect the only upgrade option would be swapping out the SSD, as it's likely to be a standard M.2 type. As for battery life, Acer claims it'll provide up to 10 hours, but that's being optimistic. At a sensible brightness level it lasted 7 hours and 36 minutes. That's still plenty, and you could maybe stretch to another hour or so by really dialing back the brightness. Meanwhile, an hour of Netflix at the same brightness dropped the battery by 11%, so you may be able to get even closer to 10 hours just watching video. Overall then, Acer has largely delivered the goods again. The Swift 3 is a nice looking laptop with good all-round performance, and for £650 or £750 depending on configuration, it offers reasonable value. However, the slight drop in screen quality from its predecessor, the sharp chamfered edges, and the fact that you're now paying £100 more for the same core configuration as last time, means it isn't quite the standout bargain it once was.